Alright, so in this lecture we're going to be talking about PhoneGap and Cordova and what it is they are and what they allow us to do in terms of building mobile applications. So PhoneGap is essentially a mobile development framework that allows developers to create hybrid mobile applications using only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and of course any other web technologies such as JavaScript and front-end frameworks. PhoneGap wraps the application inside of a native container, which is kind of like a windowless browser, and this gives the user the feel of a real native app. PhoneGap applications can be packaged and installed onto iOS or Android, as well as Windows mobile devices. PhoneGap applications can also be submitted to app stores just like native applications can. Alright, now as far as what PhoneGap applications look like, you have complete freedom to make them look however you want to. It's basically like creating an HTML, CSS website. There's no limitations. You can use plain HTML and CSS, or you can use a UI framework like jQuery UI, Kendo UI, or Twitter Bootstrap. You can also use something like IUI to mimic the look and feel of an iOS or an Android application. Alright, another awesome feature of PhoneGap is its API. Okay, so its API allows us to interact with the device utilities and features. We can do this by using Cordova plugins, and I'll talk about Cordova in a couple minutes. But with these plugins, we can use things like the camera, geolocation, and the GPS, the accelerometer. We can access photos and videos on the device. We can access and use the device storage, contacts, the compass, the battery status. We can trigger vibration, and we can use the in-app browser. Okay, so these are some of the things that we can do with a PhoneGap Cordova app. Okay, and this is a huge step up from just a regular web app or a mobile website. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about how we develop and test PhoneGap applications. So there's actually a desktop application for Windows and Mac that we can download, and it can generate a PhoneGap application for us, and then we can run it inside of a browser. Not only that, but we can also download the PhoneGap app on an iOS or Android device, and we'll be able to broadcast our mobile application to our device directly from the desktop application. Alright, now you can use the desktop browser to test basic look and function or look and feel of the application, but if you want to interact with the actual device using the API, then you need to set up the Android SDK for Android, and then the iOS Xcode environment for OS X. Now you can't test an iOS application directly from a Windows machine. You need to have either a Mac with OS X, or you can stream it directly to your device using the PhoneGap desktop application. Okay, and we'll go over that. And for Windows, when you're testing on Android, you need to have the Android SDK installed along with an Android virtual device, and we'll get that set up later as well. Alright, so once your PhoneGap application is complete and you want to package it up for an actual device, you can use a service called PhoneGap Build by Adobe. You can go to the website, you can upload a zip file with your application, and it'll package it up into the files needed to deploy it on an actual device in multiple platforms. Now for iOS, you need to buy a developer key, which I believe is around $99 or so, last time I checked. And in this course, we'll be focusing mostly on Android because we're not going to work with a developer key. Alright, now when we work with PhoneGap, we need to install Apache Cordova. And some people get confused because PhoneGap and Cordova are often used synonymously. So I'll try to clarify that. Basically, PhoneGap is the app platform that allows us to build these mobile apps using web technologies. But PhoneGap is a distribution of Apache Cordova. Okay, so Cordova is essentially the engine that powers PhoneGap. So in many ways, they are the same thing. And we'll talk more about this as we move along. So now that you know what PhoneGap is, we can start to look at creating applications using it.